If you are setting goals every month, but your life is not changing, you are not broken. You are setting goals the wrong way. In the next 20 to 25 minutes, you will learn how to turn goals into a system that actually changes your week, how to stay consistent even on bad days, and how to measure progress without losing momentum. Watch this all the way through because the fix is simpler than you think. Chris Williamson explains why most goal setting fails even for motivated people, and what separates goals that sound good from goals that actually produce results. While you watch this, listen for the trap that makes people restart over and over, and listen for the shift that turns a goal into something you actually do. Here is Chris.
You're already thinking about the past and the future, and this is just a good structured opportunity to check in and do it. Yeah, it's very overwhelming. If you realize, wow, I can do anything I want. I could look at my entire life. That's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. One thing I would say, this is your opportunity to change anything. Behaviorally, you can change anything you want. Not everything you want, right? That's the problem. You can become anything you want behaviorally, but you can't be everything you want. So you need to pick a small number. The single best question to work out what you should be doing next year. What would have to happen by the end of 2026 for me to look back on 2026 and consider it a success? I think that really helps to just give you a bit more perspective. And it usually comes down to only a few things. You don't usually have so much in your mind when you do that. Setting the bar unrealistically high does not increase your performance. Imagine that you went into a buffet and you made your plate as big as possible. You said, I want all of these things. I'm going to put all of this stuff on my plate. And my stomach is going to expand to be able to fit it. That's not the way that our stomachs work. And that is not the way that our workloads work. So, first rule, in order to pick something up, you have to put something down. Don't assume that just because you've loaded more onto your workload plate, your work capacity will expand to be able to fit it into your stomach. Like, that's not the way that it works. Make the assumption, I can do no more than I'm doing now. I can switch stuff, but I can't add more in. Maybe you can, maybe you're gonna be able to squeeze your phone time, maybe you're gonna be able to become more efficient, more productive, whatever. But it's safer to just assume this is the pie that I'm playing with, and in order to pick something up, I have to put something down. So that's a really important thing, because at the moment, it's December 29th, and I'm full of gusto and motivation, and I can't wait, I'm gonna crush it. And yeah, for the first week, maybe you've got that, but if you're using motivation and enthusiasm to work yourself through your goals are predicated largely on a fuel source that you don't have control over. You don't have a massive amount of control over your motivation over a long amount of time. Like, it comes and then it goes. You want something that's a little bit more rigid. So in order to pick something up, you have to put something down. I think one question that you really should be asking yourself, let's go through a bunch of uncomfortable questions people can ask themselves. That could be cool.
Okay.
How would I spend my day if I wanted to make 85-year-old me as miserable as possible? What is it that I did over the last year that made me right now feel there's constriction?
Okay.
I don't like my relationship with my phone. I spend a lot of time on my phone. I don't like how my mornings aren't very productive. I've noticed that when I'm with my friends, I'm not very present. I've noticed that I spend a lot of time on my own. I tend to isolate when things get difficult. I've noticed that I've got into the habit of not telling the truth when people ask me a question. I've noticed that I've got into the habit of not advocating for my needs when I should do. I don't hold my boundaries sufficiently well. Like, this is why the reflection part's really important. So, what would I do to make 85-year-old me as miserable as possible? How would I spend my day? And in what ways am I already doing that? Well, a lot of those are going to cross over. That Venn diagram is not going to be as far apart as you might think it is. If your life was a movie and the audience were watching up to this point, what would they be screaming at the screen, telling you to do with your life? They would be, it is obvious, leave the relationship, the job is not working for you, the killer's hiding in the cupboard. What would the audience be screaming at the screen, telling you to do with your life?
Pause for a moment. If that clip made you feel called out, it is because you have probably done the same cycle a lot of us do. You set a goal that sounds important. You feel a surge of motivation. You promise yourself this time will be different. For a few days, you try harder, maybe even for a couple of weeks. Then a busy day hits, a stressful moment hits, or you simply wake up without energy. You miss one session, one task, one day. Then your brain says, see, you are back to the old you. You feel guilty, you feel behind. You decide you will restart next week, next month, next year. That cycle is not a discipline problem, it is a design problem. Most goals fail for a simple reason. They are not connected to repeatable behavior. They are outcomes floating in the air. They are slogans. They feel productive to write down, but they do not tell you what to do on a random Tuesday at 7 p.m. when you are tired and your brain wants comfort. A goal like lose 20 pounds, grow a channel, become confident, make more money, or build a business is not a plan. It is a direction. Direction is useful, but direction without a roadmap will not move you. Here is the trap. Outcomes are far away, and your brain is built for now. Your brain wants immediate feedback. It wants a reward it can feel today. If the reward is months away, the brain will bargain. It will say, we can start later. We can do a smaller version tomorrow. We can take a break. That bargaining feels harmless, but it becomes a habit. Habits become identity. Another reason goals fail is that we treat motivation like a resource we can rely on. Motivation is not stable. It is affected by sleep, stress, hormones, diet, emotions, weather, and social media. Motivation can be high on Sunday night and low by Tuesday afternoon. So if your goal requires motivation to begin, your goal will collapse the moment your mood changes. A third reason is overload. Most people do not set one goal. They set 5. They try to become a new person in 1 week. They add workouts, dieting, reading, journaling, side hustles, early mornings, and no phone rules all at once. That is not a plan. That is pressure. Pressure creates overwhelm. Overwhelm creates avoidance. Then avoidance creates shame, and shame becomes the story that you are the kind of person who never follows through. Now let us translate what Chris was pointing to. The problem is not that goals are bad. The problem is that we use goals as a substitute for systems. We use the outcome as the target, but we never build the machine that produces the outcome. A system is the set of behaviors and conditions that you repeat each week. A system includes your schedule, your environment, your triggers, your minimum standard, and your tracking. Systems are boring, but systems are what change your life. Here is a line you should remember. If your goal does not change your calendar, it will not change your life. If you cannot point to your week and say, this is what I do because of this goal, then the goal is not operational. Operational means it produces actions you can execute. So moving forward, we are not going to ask, what do I want? We are going to ask, what do I do? What do I do weekly that makes the result likely? What do I do daily that makes weekly action easier? When you ask it this way, goal setting becomes practical. There is also a hidden identity issue. When you set big outcomes and miss them, you start to distrust yourself. Self-distrust is poison. It makes you lower your standards, and it makes you stop trying, because trying feels risky. That is why people quit silently. They are not lazy. They are protecting themselves from disappointment. So the fix is not to push harder. The fix is to rebuild trust with a smaller, smarter structure. You need goals that translate into behaviors that fit real life, and a system that still runs on bad days. That is what we are building next. We will take any goal and turn it into a weekly plan. Then we will design it for consistency. And finally, we will track the right inputs so progress becomes visible. That is how you stop restarting every month and start building momentum that lasts. One more reason goals fail is measurement. Many people track only the final result, and final results are slow. When you only look at a slow outcome, it feels like nothing is happening, so you lose patience and quit. It is like planting seeds and digging them up every 2 days to check if they grew. The better approach is to track the inputs you control, because inputs are the seeds. When you measure inputs, you can see progress every week, and that keeps you consistent long enough for the outcome to show up. Now we build the framework you can use for any goal. Think of a goal as a destination. It tells you where you want to go. A system is the vehicle and the route. It tells you what you do repeatedly so you actually arrive. Most people write destinations and never build vehicles. Then they blame themselves when nothing changes. Here is the first rule. A good goal should produce a weekly plan in under 10 minutes. If you cannot turn your goal into a weekly plan fast, your goal is too vague. It is not operational. Operational means you can point to your calendar and say, this is what I do this week because of that goal. So we start with a translation step. Every goal must be translated into 2 to 3 weekly behaviors, not 12 behaviors, 2 or 3. Fewer behaviors means more focus. More focus means you can actually execute. Example 1, fitness. A vague goal is get in shape. That sounds nice, but it does not tell you what to do. A translated system looks like this. Train 3 times per week. Walk daily or almost daily. Follow one simple nutrition rule. That might be protein with every meal, or no sugary drinks, or a consistent breakfast. The exact rule is less important than consistency. The key is that the goal now has a weekly structure. Example 2, growing a YouTube channel. A vague goal is get more subscribers. A translated system looks like this. Write 5 hooks each week. Produce 1 long-form video each week or every 2 weeks. Review retention once per week and choose 1 improvement to test next upload. Again, simple and repeatable. When you do this, the goal becomes actions you can control. Example 3, making more money. A vague goal is earn more. A translated system looks like this. Daily outreach or prospecting. Weekly skill building in 1 high-leverage skill. Weekly offer improvement. If you run these inputs, money becomes a lagging result, not a mystery. Now we apply the second rule. Track inputs, not just outcomes. Outcomes are what you want, but outcomes are affected by many variables you do not fully control. Inputs are the actions you control. Inputs are the levers. Inputs create outcomes over time. So instead of obsessing over losing 20 pounds, track sessions completed and steps walked. Instead of obsessing over 10,000 a month, track outreach messages sent and sales conversations booked. Instead of obsessing over subscribers, track videos published and hooks tested. Here is a simple test for viewers. If your goal is real, you should be able to answer this question in 1 sentence. What do I do on Monday because of this goal? If you cannot answer, you are still at the wish stage. Translate again until you can answer. Now we add the third rule. Build 2 levels, ideal and minimum. Most systems fail because they are designed for your best day. Then you hit a bad day and the plan collapses and you fall into the all or nothing trap. All or nothing says, if I cannot do the perfect session, I will do nothing. That is how streaks die and identities crack. The minimum level is your protection. It is the smallest version you will do even when tired, busy, stressed, or unmotivated. It is not meant to maximize progress. It is meant to protect the identity of someone who follows through. For fitness, ideal might be a full workout. Minimum might be 10 minutes movement. For writing, ideal might be 1,000 words. Minimum might be 200. For content, ideal might be a full edit session. Minimum might be writing 1 hook and outlining 1 section. For business, ideal might be 10 outreach messages. Minimum might be 2. This is how you build a system that can survive real life. Now we add the 4th rule. Your system must produce a weekly review. Once per week, you check the inputs. You do not judge yourself. You adjust the system. If you missed a session, you ask why. Was the first step too big? Was the schedule unrealistic? Was the environment distracting? Was the trigger unclear? Then you make 1 small adjustment and try again. This is how systems get stronger. When you do all this, goal setting stops being emotional. It becomes engineering. You are not hoping for results. You are building a machine. And if the machine is not working, you tweak the machine, not your self-worth. In the next part, we make the machine easy to run. Because the biggest enemy is not lack of knowledge. It is friction at the moment of starting. So we are going to design consistency instead of relying on willpower. Most people do not fail at the finish line. They fail at the start. They fail in the tiny moment when they should begin, and their brain creates friction. Friction is the invisible force that turns a simple task into a heavy task. And when a task feels heavy, avoidance feels smart. Here is what friction looks like. You sit down to work, but you have no clear first step. You intend to train, but your clothes are not ready, and your gym bag is missing something. You want to eat better, but there is no food prepped, and the easiest option is junk. You want to create, but your tools are scattered, and your phone is right beside you. In each case, the action requires too many decisions. Too many decisions drains energy. Then you reach for comfort. This is why willpower is a bad strategy. Willpower is limited. It drops when you are tired, hungry, stressed, or distracted. So if your plan is to fight friction every day with willpower, you will lose eventually. The correct move is to reduce friction, so willpower is not required. You design consistency with 3 principles. Make the first step small, remove friction, add a trigger. When you do these 3, action becomes automatic. Principle 1. Make the first step small enough to do on a bad day. This is not about lowering standards. This is about making the start so easy that you cannot justify skipping it. The hardest part of most tasks is beginning. Once you begin, momentum often carries you. So you design a beginning ritual. For fitness, the first step is not a full workout. The first step is putting on clothes and starting a warm-up. For writing, the first step is opening the document and writing the first sentence. For content, the first step is opening your notes and writing 3 hook ideas. For business, the first step is opening your outreach template and sending 1 message. The first step should take 1 to 3 minutes. That is the point. Principle 2. Remove friction in your environment. Your environment is a vote for a behavior. If your environment is built for distraction, you will get distracted. If your environment is built for action, you will act. This is not a moral issue, it is design. Remove obvious friction. Put your phone in another room during your work block. Log out of distracting apps. Keep the tools you need in reach. Lay out your training clothes the night before. Keep healthy food visible and ready. Leave your project open so you can resume quickly. Every removed barrier increases the chance you follow through. Principle 3. Add triggers so you do not rely on memory or mood. A trigger is a consistent cue that starts the behavior. Triggers can be time-based, location-based, or sequence-based. Time-based trigger means at 7 a.m. I do my minimum workout. Location-based trigger means when I sit at my desk, I write for 20 minutes. Sequence-based trigger means after I drink coffee, I do my first outreach message. When triggers are consistent, your brain stops negotiating. It becomes routine. Now we add an important layer. Protect your system with a minimum standard. On bad days, you do the minimum. Not nothing, not perfect, the minimum. This keeps the identity chain intact because what kills progress is not a single missed day. What kills progress is the story you tell after a missed day. The story that says, I am off the plan, so I might as well quit. The minimum standard prevents that spiral. Next, design your schedule for reality, not fantasy. Many people fail because they pack too much into a week. They schedule workouts like a professional athlete while working full-time and sleeping poorly. They schedule deep work blocks when they have no control over interruptions. Then they miss sessions and feel bad. Instead, start with what you can actually sustain. It is better to run a smaller system for months than a perfect system for 1 week. Finally, make progress visible. When progress is invisible, the brain quits. So you track inputs. You track sessions completed, minutes practiced, messages sent, pages written. When you track inputs, you can see wins weekly even before the outcome changes. That creates a positive feedback loop. Here is the big idea. Consistency is not a personality. It is a structure. When the structure is right, you do not need to be heroic. You just show up and run the system. In the next part, I will give you the 3 follow-through steps that turned this video into action today. They will help you translate your goal into weekly inputs, protect consistency with a minimum version, and track the right metric so your system keeps improving. Now we close this with follow-through. If you only watch and nod, your brain will label this as information. Information does not change your life. Action changes your life. The goal of this channel is simple. Every video ends with steps you can use today. So here are 3 steps that match the core message. Goals fail when they are outcomes without systems. Do these steps in order. Keep them simple. Do not overthink. You are not trying to design a perfect life. You are trying to build a system you can actually run. Step 1. Convert your goal into a weekly system. Write your goal in 1 clear sentence. Then ask 1 question. What does this goal require weekly? Answer with actions, not feelings. Now choose 2 to 3 weekly actions that make progress likely. 2 or 3 only. If you choose 7 actions, you will dilute focus and quit. Keep the inputs small and repeatable. Then put those actions on your calendar. If it is not scheduled, it is not real. A goal becomes real when it becomes an appointment. Here are examples of how to translate. If your goal is fitness, your 2 to 3 actions might be 3 training sessions plus daily walking. If your goal is learning a skill, your actions might be 5 practice blocks of 20 minutes plus 1 weekly review. If your goal is content creation, your actions might be 1 filming session, 1 editing session, and 1 review session. Whatever your goal is, the system should fit your life. A quick test. Look at your calendar for the next 7 days. Can you point to the exact times you will run the system? If you cannot, schedule them now, even if it is a small block, even if it is only 20 minutes. Systems start small. Step 2. Create a minimum version for bad days. Bad days are not a surprise. They are guaranteed. Stress, travel, poor sleep, mood swings, family issues, workload, sickness. If your system only works on good days, it will fail. So you build a minimum standard. Your minimum standard is the smallest version of your system you will do even when you feel low. It should be small enough to do when tired, but real enough to keep your identity intact. For fitness, your minimum might be 10 minutes movement. For writing, it might be 200 words. For studying, it might be 1 problem set or 1 page of notes. For business, it might be 1 outreach message. For content, it might be writing 1 hook or outlining 1 section. The point is not maximum progress. The point is consistency. Now make a rule. On good days, do the ideal. On bad days, do the minimum. Do not negotiate. The minimum is your safety net. It prevents the all or nothing trap. It keeps the chain unbroken, and unbroken chains build momentum. Also, reduce the decision load. Decide in advance what the minimum looks like and when you will do it. If you wait until the bad day arrives, your brain will bargain and you will skip. Pre-decision beats willpower. Step 3. Track inputs and run a weekly review. Most people track only the outcome, and outcomes are slow. When outcomes are slow, people assume they are failing and they quit early. Instead, track the inputs that your system is built on. Choose 1 input metric you can count. Keep it simple. It might be sessions completed, minutes practiced, messages sent, pages written, or videos published. Then set a weekly review time, 15 minutes once per week. During the weekly review, do 3 things. First, count your inputs. Second, note what helped you follow through and what created friction. Third, adjust the system, not your self-worth. If you missed a session, do not punish yourself. Ask why. Was the time unrealistic? Was the first step too big? Did your environment invite distraction? Was the trigger unclear? Then make 1 small change and run the next week again. This weekly review is where consistency becomes skill. You stop treating goal setting like a motivational event and start treating it like a process you improve. Now let me give you the simple closing reminder. Your goal is not the finish line. Your goal is the direction. Your system is what makes progress inevitable. So today, pick 1 goal. Translate it into 2 to 3 weekly actions and schedule them. Define the minimum version for bad days. Track 1 input metric and review it weekly. If you do that, you will stop restarting every month. You will stop relying on motivation. You will start building identity, the identity of someone who follows through. And if you want to make it real, comment 1 goal and your 2 weekly actions. Keep it short. Then do the first small step today. Momentum starts with 1 rep.